Hi, Grace. Nice to meet you. So Grace was the winner of our Youth Spirit Award at GovHack last year, and we are very happy to meet him here today. And Grace, it would be great if you could share a little bit about your background and your experience and what brought you to actually join GovHack.
I initially did think GovHack was just kind of like a fun friends like weekend where we just kind of hung out and like did a project. But pretty much one day into it, I got super like involved and we ended up getting very competitive about it.
Awesome.
Uh, I found out through Gov. Uh, I found out through sorry. I found out about GovHack through school. I had my teachers invited me to give it a try, and I was very keen to do so.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. And did you have a specific plan when you set out what kind of project you were building?
It took us about a day, I think. It took us longer than most teams to kind of have an idea of what we're doing. My actual project was worked on by a very big team. I think we had the maximum amount of people in our team. And since we're all younger, it took us quite a while to kind of get on the same page about our idea. But by the time we did, we were all, we all had our jobs and we had a pretty clear set out of an idea. We had storyboards drafted up by some of our artists of what we wanted our website to look like, and we had everyone had a designated job that was, for their preferred specialties. Yeah.
And were you, because we have only one competition weekend of, I think, 64 hours in total, were you ever worried that during the first day when it took a while to get your big team to collaborate, were you ever worried you couldn't make the timeline?
I think it was a worry, but generally towards the end, as those last few hours were coming in, we were still doing our final preparations. But I think it was also a positive to have such a big team because there was a lot more workload shared around. Therefore, we could take much quicker breaks, and everyone had a bit more time to recharge. Therefore, we had a much more stable workflow and a greater overall work output.
Yeah, okay. And what skills did you in particular bring to the group?
Um, I went into GovHack thinking I would be in a different team to what I was, and then got put into a shared team. So my initial idea of going into GovHack was that I would mainly focus on code and artistic design, two of my main specialties.
Hmm.
But when we joined the big team, I, as sort of a main friend of every person there,
Hmm.
some of whom weren't as close, I kind of just led a bit more than I would usually and took a bit of more of a leadership role. And that ended up being my main quality to the team. I
Yeah.
organized everybody and made sure everyone got adequate breaks. And I had to work around a lot of people's, like a lot of my friends are neurodivergent. So we had a lot of issues, not issues, but we had to work to their strengths and also, take into account their weaknesses, like not being able to work for, hours and hours like some of the other people could. So that was one of my main talents that I was recognized for, was just being able to include everybody and make sure everybody used their skills adequately. And I also did work partially on the design team to create some mock-ups of what our website would look like, as well as building and coding the website.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Yeah. And what do you think led to your led to your project being successful?
Our project actually did not win any awards, but I think we were lucky enough to complete it and get a runner-up award. Um, I think just the teamwork and everyone being able to play a part in a skill area that they were most um that they were the best at and most interested in meant that everyone was passionate about what we were doing and enjoyed it. Therefore, the atmosphere was good, and we were all having fun towards the end. So that's what made it, you know, work. I think if we hadn't have enjoyed it, we would never have finished.
Yeah, okay. But a runner award is a runner-up award is also it's a good commendation already. So
Exactly, and I think definitely for my first ever attempt, and a majority of my friends also first ever. try at GovHack and to scramble together a completely new team as a bunch of teenagers and still manage to complete and build an entire website in for what was 2 days of building. So I think we only actually worked for 16 hours because we didn't do overnight and whatnot. I think that we did quite well, regardless of whether we ended up winning. I was proud of what we got done, and my friends were all very happy with the product.
Yeah. And what was your project about? So you were building a website. Did you have a specific theme?
Yeah, we built our website as sort of a resource for the people of Hobart, Tasmania, to learn how they could lower their carbon footprint. And we wanted it to be accessible to anyone of any age and have very simple processes in terms of like how you might lower your carbon footprint through, as I said before, whatever age you were. So we had ideas based around children and how they might, younger children and how they might, do small things to lower their carbon footprint, like learning how to recycle or ride their bike to school or whatever, and stuff for adults and also for senior people, which was kind of what our main idea was centered around.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. And did you, what would you say you got out of GovHack for yourself?
Well, since I did get the privilege of going up to Queensland, I got to meet a lot of very talented people who had many, many amazing ideas and so many opportunities just to meet really awesome people throughout the entire thing. I built much stronger relationships with my friends and I learned skills of my own. And I think it was just an overall really good experience that I was very glad to have taken. And I think that in itself was something that I will cherish. Like I got so much out of GovHack.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We love to hear that. And are you going to be participating this year?
100%. Yeah, I had an absolute ball of a time last year. Regardless of the fact that I got to go up to Queensland, which was its own amazing experience,
Awesome, yeah.
I had an absolutely fantastic time at the actual event. We had an amazing person organizing our thing who was very supportive of us. And yeah, I'm most definitely be doing this for years and years to come. And while at the GovHack thing, I met a few people that had actually gotten jobs through GovHack by people noticing their projects, which I thought was amazing and just even more inspiring for me to keep going because it really builds skills. It really builds skills and it lets you network with people with similar interests with you. Just awesome. 100%. I will be doing this for many years to come, I'm sure.
That's awesome. And then we are looking forward to have you volunteer one day.
Yeah.
You can. Yeah, so in terms of career opportunities, our sponsors do tend to hire our winners. It's the easiest recruitment process you can have. Someone.
Yeah. And we also met people that got hired through universities and such, finding out about their projects and going, wow, this is really cool. Who made this? Or like universities that hosted them, seeing people.
Venues, yeah. Yeah, well, that's absolutely.
Yeah, it was. We met some very awesome people. Yeah.
Yeah, very much. Thank you so much. It was absolutely great to hear from you, and we want to hear a lot from you coming up in September when you're going to be joining again, hopefully. Thank you.
That's fair.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for today. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.